welcome to today's On This Day in Tudor History. I'm Claire Ridgway. I'm the author of that book over there and also owner of the TudorSociety.com website and of course the Anne Boleyn Files, which has been going since 2009 now. So lots of Tudor history stuff going on in my life. Now, today's On This Day in Tudor History takes us back to 1558 and the reign of the Catholic Queen Mary I. In January 1558, Mary had written to her husband, Philip of Spain, believing herself to be 6 months pregnant, to tell him of this joyous news because Philip was out of the country. This joyous news, which she had said had gone far to lighten the sorrow I have felt for the loss of Calais, because in Mary's reign, England lost the territory of Calais, which they'd had for centuries. Then on the 30th of March 1558, believing that the birth of her child was imminent, Mary sat down to write her will. She started with the words, "Thinking myself to be with child in lawful marriage between my said dearly beloved husband and lord, although I be at this present, thanks be unto Almighty God, otherwise in good health, yet foreseeing the great danger which by God's ordinance remain to all women in their travail of children, have thought good, both for the discharge of my conscience and continuance of good order within my realms and dominions, to declare my last will and testament." Now, in her will, Mary left her crown, her throne, to her child, which she thought she was going to have, with Philip acting as guardian and regent in the child's minority. She also stated that she wished her mother's remains, her mother being Catherine of Aragon, her remains should be moved from Peterborough Abbey, where they'd been buried after Catherine's death in 1536, moved from Peterborough to Westminster and laid to rest with Mary's remains. And she asked for her executors to commission an honourable tomb or monument for both ladies. She also ordered the restoration of lands formerly belonging to the church, which had been taken during the dissolution. She left money for alms for the poor and needy. She left money for the religious houses of Sheen and Sion, which she had re-established in her reign. She also left money for the observant friars of Greenwich, the Black Friars at St. Bartholomew's, and various other charitable places, orders and establishments, with requests for them to say daily masses, suffrages and prayers. So lots of provisions for, charitable kind of things. Among other provisions, she also requested that her Archbishop of Canterbury, who was Reginald Pole, should continue his good work in the realm, and warned that her executors should follow the terms of her will because they would be answerable to God at Judgment Day. So, follow the terms of my will or you will have to say why you didn't in front of God at Judgment Day. Now, of course, Mary never did give birth to this baby she thought she was carrying because she wasn't actually pregnant, and her health deteriorated over the next few months, and she died on the 17th of November 1558. Her Archbishop, Reginald Pole, who she'd wanted to continue the good work in the realm, actually died on the same day, so was unable to carry on the work. And there was no issue to inherit her throne. She hadn't had a child. She'd thought herself pregnant several times, but she never had been. Instead, her half-sister Elizabeth became queen. Mary was buried at Westminster Abbey, but her mother's remains were never moved from Peterborough. They're still there today. You can visit Catherine of Aragon's tomb in Peterborough Cathedral today. So they were never moved to join those of Mary. But in 1603, Mary's vault was opened and a coffin containing the remains of her half-sister Elizabeth I were lowered in. So the two sisters rest in peace together. Although actually you'd never know from the monument, just by looking at the monument without reading the inscription, that Mary was in that tomb at all, because it's just got Elizabeth's effigy on top. So today, on this day in Tudor history, we have the 30th of March 1558, Mary, believing herself to be just about to have this longed for baby, makes her will. So it just seems very sad that, this pregnancy was not a pregnancy at all, and that Mary was actually dying. So sorry to leave you with a gloomy one. At least it wasn't a horrible execution today. I'll be back tomorrow with some more Tudor goodies for you. You can subscribe to the channel by clicking there, hit the bell to be notified, and if you are enjoying this series of videos, then perhaps, give me a like. That would be very much appreciated. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.